Why don't you tell us who you are, where you're at, and what you do?
All right, so my name is Michael Overstreet. I am the owner of Safe Street Insurance here in Gilbert, Arizona. We focus heavily on personal lines, auto, home. We've just added health. I do life as well, and I have 2 employees.
You've been using Better Agency now for a few months,
Hmm.
and you've been an insurance agent for a while now, right? So
Yep.
my question for you is, what were you doing? What were you like systems wise, and to make sure that you were maximizing your business as much as you could, what were you doing before using Better Agency?
All right, so I'll tell you what I was doing, and I'll also
Okay.
tell you I was not very successful at it.
Okay.
Basically, I was piecing 500 different things together to try and make it all work as one cohesive unit,
Yeah.
and it wasn't working. So I would have active campaign through Zapier, through Ring Central, so that I could send the text, and I would have to build out the campaigns and active campaign by using the webhooks, and it was just a complete disaster. Half the time it didn't work, and when it did work, it was still clunky and wasn't very effective.
Okay.
So that's what
So
I was doing. Wasn't working well.
so coming from where you were at, right? Which, by the way, that's actually, as far as I'm concerned, you're like one of those person that took the Oregon Trail. Like, you blaze the path so that others could have nice things. And so through that, you had done that. You had done the hard job there. And as you said, it was probably really high in labor and low in results. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
relatively probably to what you were hoping for the amount of time invested. Since being from that life, and now implementing Better Agency into your insurance agency, what kind of impact has that made in your life, either monetarily or in the amount of time that you've saved, in efficiency and things like that?
Uh-huh. So it saved a lot monetarily, time, frustration, all those things. So now instead of piecing all these different pieces together, it's just one piece right there inside Better Agency, which is awesome. And then also instead of paying all these different vendors to do all these things, it's just one payment to Better
Hmm.
Agency, which is saving me money as well.
Okay.
And then the whole time aspect. Before I jumped on this call, I was talking to a mortgage broker friend of mine who was talking about Google reviews and how he needs to focus on that
Hmm.
and get more reviews. I was like, dude, just add that onto your automation. And he's like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to figure that out. And I was like, oh, that sucks, man, because I don't have time to figure it out either, but I have it within Better Agency built in for me.
Right. No,
So,
that's awesome. And that's true. That's very true. The necessity for that. And so it sounds like you've been able to use that. So not only has Better Agency helped you save money from being able to reduce the amount of different like programs or apps that you have to use, it's helped you save, I'd imagine, hundreds of hours at this point, through every email you didn't have to write, through every text you didn't have to send. The collection of, how that's helped you probably manage your prospects as well as your clients. I'd imagine, if it's anything like what I've experienced, it's probably hundreds of hours. And then another question I have for you is, outside of just saving money or time, how has Better Agency helped you make more money?
so nothing is falling through the cracks. Before leads come in, we would call them, we'd be on them for a week or two, but then it would just kind of disappear. And I would try and put it into my system, but again, it wasn't bulletproof. Things would fall through the cracks. Now a new lead comes in, we put it into Better Agency. We know Better Agency is going to follow up with them and probably going to get them to respond to us so that we can sell them. If it doesn't, we at least know that, hey, they're going to be X dated and there's going to be a follow-up campaign. And next year at this time, they're still going to know who we are, and we're going to have that opportunity to follow up with them and close them. So it's helping us make sales. If that's not now, down the future, it's
Right.
helping us make sales and make more money.
Nice.
Also with the Google reviews thing, it's awesome. Like I was mentioning, it's just automated. It's in there, which getting those reviews helps our SEO, helps people find us, helps our phone ring more, helps us make more money.
Have you noticed, because I know in Better Agency, there's a focus on, pretty much, I mean, the goal is to really change every client interaction into a review opportunity.
Hmm.
Have you noticed a decent uptick between the Google reviews from new clients after you've sold them and converted them from a prospect to a client, the Google reviews for service requests or claims or anything like that? Have you noticed an uptick in the amount of reviews compared to what you were doing before?
Yeah. So the first time that we ran the service pipeline or the service request campaign, we got a review. It was awesome. And she responded and said, wow, this process was so awesome, so
That's
easy,
awesome.
so clean. And she said, I'd love to leave you a review. And she left us an awesome 5-star review. And that was the first time we used it. So
That's
results
amazing.
immediately.
And so that's probably, I'd imagine, I mean, before using Better Agency myself, I never just because of how busy I am, and I'm sure you're the same way, I never really took the extra step to ask for a review on something like adding a car or adding a driver. Like that never really, I was too busy, right? And so
Exactly.
was it a scenario like that? And, was it a service request that she left you a review
Yeah,
on?
it was a service request, and I was the same as you. We never asked for reviews after service. Just because of the busyness factor, didn't occur to us that that would be a good time to do it. So
Right.
I think if you're not doing it, you're missing out on a golden opportunity, because that's the most interaction we have. We interact with current clients more than we interact with new clients. So if you're not asking for that review, and Better Agency makes it easy and automatic, if you're not asking for the review, you're missing out.
Nice. Now, between the sales pipeline, the service pipeline, all of the pre-built automations for pretty much anything, the sales tracking, commission tracking, client communication being unified, between all of that and the claims management, as far as responses and stuff like that, and the, helping you stay on top of service requests, just between all of that and the Google reviews, like, I know it's a lot of cool things it does, but if you had to choose one thing that's your absolute favorite thing about Better Agency, what would you say that is?
I would say the sales pipeline. As a smaller agency that's trying to grow, my number one pain point is getting new clients. And sometimes it's not even a problem getting new leads, but it's a problem turning those leads into clients. Right. And so the sales pipeline, following up with them, the emails, the automation, all of that goes into it, helps 100% close the lead and get the new business. So I would say that by far is my favorite part.
Nice, man. That's awesome. So if, somebody watching this video, let's say maybe they've heard of Better Agency, but they don't know much about it, or maybe they're even on the fence about, maybe they've seen stuff about it and they're thinking about getting Better Agency for themselves, but they're on the fence, right? What would you say to somebody in that situation who's, kind of contemplating whether they should take the leap or not? What would you say to them?
I would say do it. It makes your life so much more simple. A lot of times in the insurance industry, we have to decide, am I going to be a tech guy, or am I going to be an insurance agent, or am I going to try and juggle both together and not really master either one? So with Better Agency, you leave the technology to them. You guys take care of it. It's awesome. We don't have to worry about it, and we can just focus on actually selling, which is what our job should be.
Right. Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad that you've been able to implement it and turn it into a positive experience up to this point, man. It's been really cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I one of the reasons I love Better Agency is because you guys are constantly coming out with new things. It's always upgrading. It's never a finished product, constantly getting better. And you take the time to talk to agents to find out what we actually want, and you implement those things, which is awesome.